Want to throw a conversation out on the table because, we're in the school year. Parents and school board members, they've been meeting, talking about all kinds of things, school safety and among other things. But there was an interesting conversation at the Leander Independent School District board meeting, the school board meeting there, where they have a list of goals and priorities for the kids and schools and things like that. Mm-hmm. And goal one, from what I'm being told, is to increase standardized test scores by 3%. That's the number one goal. And apparently there was a conversation at the school board meeting where the superintendent said, well, that shouldn't be the top priority, or maybe, better yet, the superintendent wanted to spark a conversation about test scores, about high-stakes testing, the STAAR test, and how much pressure we put on the kids. And it sparked an interesting conversation. I noticed this over the weekend on social media that, there's probably 40,000 kids or so in the Leander ISD, I think.
Yeah.
And the conversation went something like this. Why are we educating all of these kids, 40,000 plus, the same way? They all learn a different way.
No doubt about it.
So why are we pushing them the same way? And it was an interesting debate about high-stakes testing at the Leander School Board meeting. And I'd love and if some folks are listening right now, you may have been part of that meeting. Maybe the superintendent's listening. I'd love to get him to explain what he's thinking. It was an interesting conversation. I'm glad he sparked the conversation. Jump in here at 512-836-0590. Ain't nobody ever got into college based on their STAAR test.
No.
Ain't nobody ever got a job based on their STAAR test scores.
And obviously, if you're talking about standardized, which means the educating towards that goal would be pretty much the same for everybody, I assume. But yeah, you're right. Everybody learns in their own way at their own pace.
JR is in Hutto. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
Well, I just want to jump in the conversation about testing with students and differentiated learning styles.
Yeah.
I've been in education for over 25 years, and I had an idea years ago that students should be tested before they enter a certain grade level and find out what their learning style is, and then classrooms should basically be grouped on students based on their learning style, because what happens is a teacher usually teaches based upon how they like to be taught. And so if you got a teacher that is who likes to lecture, and you got a student who's more visual or more hands-on, they're going to disengage. And then that teacher's going to think that student doesn't care. And then over time, that student just drops off and starts to not believe. Johnny starts saying, hey, I can't contribute. Maybe I am stupid. And then he chooses a path maybe we wouldn't want him to choose. But if you tap into how he learns, I'm telling you, it makes a world of difference.
Sure. I like that idea. Doing like a baseline test, if you will, to see where they are right now. And then maybe another test at the end of the year just to see how much that individual student progressed.
Right.
Not how much the school district progressed, but how much that individual kid did.
Exactly. And then there are new software programs that are out now with these companies that basically you can do assessments throughout the year that based upon if they get the answer right or wrong, based upon what they're learning in their classes, it determines what the next question will be. So it's not that everybody's going to learn at the same pace and the same level. It's more customized to that individual student and how they're learning. So it gives immediate feedback to the teachers and the school district to know, hey, how are we doing, and is this stuff really hitting the mark the way that we want it to?
Yeah.
So there's tools out there.
No, I get you. Listen, there are some situations where a C feels like an A and a B feels like a D. It all depends on the kid themselves and what they're capable of. That's a good point, JR. Thank you.
And again, just because a kid learns more slowly than another kid does not mean that kid that learns more slowly would be less intelligent. I think that kid that learns more slowly or whatever, in whatever way, whatever the rhythm is, it's just the way they do it. I know that I have a certain way that I learn things, and it might be a lot slower than the way you learn things because I have to just kind of, repeat. I have to repeat, or it has to be more visual or whatever. But it does not mean a lack of intelligence. So that does make sense. Find a way to separate kids based on their learning style.